Gold Beach in Normandy, where 75 years ago 3 players from our club, the Northampton Saints, came ashore on the D-Day invasion. Croft, Powell and Goosey, the 3 members of the Northampton Saints. They came here as part of the Allied forces, and we come over here to 75 years later to retrace their steps. We've come inland from Gold Beach, and we're sort of in the bocage, which, you know, in the French countryside, and we've come particularly in the section. And John, what's the significance of this here?
Well, we're following the story of Captain R Crofts, who was in the Northampton Yeomanry, been in before the war, and he played for Saints before the war. And on the 27th of June 1944, he was out here in a scout car, out here trying to find information where the Germans were. Came to a track junction, and a German tank fired at him, fired 3 shots that missed, and he tried to reverse the scout car out of danger, and on reversing it hit a landmine and he was killed. And the reason we've come here, Chris, is from this very spot the documents tell us that he was buried here in this field.
So
originally
Richard Croft, you know, who played for the Saints, was buried here, but he doesn't rest here now, does he? Because further on they moved him again.
That's right. In January 1945 he was exhumed from this original burial spot, and his body was transferred to BAYEUX War Cemetery, where he rests today.
I cast my eyes around here. I can't see anybody else that was 30. They're all 20 something. So young men. Captain R Crofts, with written on the bottom, dear only son of John Warner and Catherine Crofts, Kilsby Grange, Rugby. So we've come a couple of kilometres outside Cairn, which is a very strategic town for both sides in the battle here in Normandy, and we've got a large wheat field here at a crossroads. And what's the significance of this place, John?
Jon Cooksey, one of the senior sergeants, with his tank crew on this flat ground here, was filling his tank up full of petrol, and a German shell came in, a random German shell came in, exploded near the tank. Most of the crew were badly wounded, but Jon Cooksey was very, very seriously wounded. So much so that he died of his wounds. And he actually was buried here, just in the corner of this wheat field here. We're standing right where the original burial was, Chris.
But he's not resting here now, is that correct?
He's not. In 1945, his body was exhumed, and he actually is just down this road here, so we can actually go down to the cemetery and visit the real grave. One of the key words here, Chris, is father, because Jon Cooksey had a wife and three young boys. And it says here, look, Sergeant Goosey leaves 3 boys, the eldest of whom is 8 and the youngest 8 months old.
Any war death is a tragedy, but when you leave behind children as well as a wife, you know, 3 kids, the youngest just a wee tacker, that makes it doubly tough. He was the trickiest fly half the rugger side ever had, and was a great loss in every way. So, Sergeant, well respected, good bloke obviously, 3 kids and a wife, paid the price, and we salute you.
Driving up here, chasing the Germans out of Normandy, and they break out with his tank. He came across the river at Saint-Pierre-sur-Dee. You can see the church down there. Up, directly attacked this hill, straight up the road. Tanks broke off into the field to the right, and Sergeant Powell's tank was hit by an anti-tank gun, and he was killed outright. He was buried just up the road.
So direct hit with the tank, and ended up being buried temporarily just at the top of the hill.
About a mile away.
We lay the wreath for Dick Powell, the last one, and that really closes the chapter on our trip here to acknowledge and lay the wreath and acknowledge the sacrifice that those three men made on behalf of the country, their families, and of the club. These three men were good Saintsmen, and I think it's really important for us to acknowledge our fallen brothers. They were part of our family at one stage in their lives, and we need to acknowledge those guys as part of that, and hope that that lesson and story keeps fresh in our mind and we don't have to go through it again.